Hello, everybody. This is OMONDI Juma from the Man United Agenda with the full crew, and we're here to discuss the post-match review of Man United 3, Atalanta 2. Hello, good evening, everybody. It's OMONDI Juma, and you'd think we'd be happy, but I'm not that happy today. I don't know how my guests are feeling. Hello, Mr. B, how are you?
I got a smile on my face.
We get round to that. We've also got let me just say, it's the 20th of October today, 1999. That's how it feels to me anyway, the way we've been playing this year. West Ham, Villarreal, and we've also got Rebel Irishman. How are you today?
I don't know how I'm feeling now. My heart is literally pounding after that game, and I have a lot to say about it.
Well, we're going to get to it. We're going to get right down to it. And finally, we've got our commentator, the Reg Gutteridge, the Murray Walker, the Bobby Moore, whoever. He's our greatest commentator. Anyone who listened to his live stream would be excited. And I'm sure. Are you calm down now? Talk? Are you?
Yeah,
okay?
I'm a little bit calmer from the not all of the performance in the second half, but most of got me back on side. But the first half was so frustrating, and I felt a bit sick actually, if I'm honest with you.
Okay. Let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this. We've just come on 5 minutes after this game. There's this famous quote. Someone says, "It's a game of two halves," which is represents what we just witnessed today. A first half of Atalanta complete dominating with their style of football, imposing their football on us, and the second half of Man United and the crowd, mind you, really gunning for it, and working their socks off. And you can see the relief at the end there. Even Ronaldo, he was like gun off. He knows he was the man today. So I'm going to start off with the man who watched the game and commentated on it. I just want to ask you a quick question, Talk MU.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst of change today for the result for you? It's summarised very quickly.
The change, well,
in the result, what was the catalyst of change for you?
The substitutions, first of all. You know, the substitutions, and also we picked the tempo up a little bit, didn't we? You know, we picked up the tempo, and that was key because otherwise, like I said, in the first half, it was so lethargic. It was so like it was almost as if we were kind of like rabbits in the headlights. It was just it's not even recognisable as a Man United team from what I was seeing in that first half. But yeah, once we picked up the pace, and obviously then Pogba affected the game for me as well, and then bringing everybody else that came on, and yeah, so I think I'd say that was probably the main thing would have been us picking up the pace, doing things quicker.
Okay, I'm going to pass it on to you, Mr. B. So what, in your opinion, you've watched the whole game of two halves. What was the change for you? What turned it around for Manchester United, in your opinion?
All the booing that the players got at half-time.
That would have
changed it. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. To me, the second half was about the players taking responsibility. Every one of those players in the second half decided that they wanted to put their foot in, decided that they wanted to make a run, which stretched the game. So the first half, they were just so lethargic and so dead. But I think my opinion, the catalyst was half-time. I don't believe Ollie said a bloody thing in the changing room. I think all of those big plays, did you see how Fernandez came out in the second half like a man possessed? Did you see how Ronaldo came out in the second half like a man possessed? They had Ollie, Carrick and Kenner sitting in the corner with their iPhone heads on, and they took no notice of them. This is my opinion. You could see we never had no tactic. The tactics in the first half we spoke about. Tactics in the second half, there wasn't none. The players decided that they were not going to believe in the Champions League at this stage.
Rebel, how are you feeling? I want to ask you the same question. So you've watched both halves as well. What do you think the tactical change was, and why did we end up winning that game?
First of all, let's describe this game for what it was. It was 90 minutes of glorious madness. We were absolutely at sea in the first half. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in his pre-match interview, said, in the Leicester game, we looked open, we were too easy to play through, and he picked a team that would give us legs and energy. I did not see that in the first half performance. I saw at times when we were out in the right-hand wing that Bruno was clogging up the Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Greenwood flank. I saw a team that was looking very lethargic and very out of sorts. I saw a team that was playing without shape, without a pattern of play, without any sort of system or structure.
Yep.
And then in the second half, we saw warriors, individual warriors. Man like Bruno, man like Ronaldo, man like Rashford before he had to come off because obviously he's not up to full fitness. Man like Pogba. And even man like Fred absolutely balled out today. And it was because of individual brilliance and sheer determination and passion that they did not want to let down their heritage and lineage in this game that we got 3 points. I don't know how we got 3 points, but we were fortunate.
You know what, guys? Brilliant. So I'm just going to sum this up. Talk MU saying we've won that game because we speeded up the tempo, started playing quicker football. Mr. B saying the booing really stirred up the players, and Ollie was told to get in the corner like baby from and he said we say baby in the corner, we do put Ollie in the corner, and players taking more responsibility. That's obvious. I could see that myself. And Rebel's just gone on to say, players stepping up and individual brilliance as well. I mean, I love that header. That header was brilliant, man. So next thing I want to go on to is which something that's really quite key when we were doing the build-up to the show, what we've just seen. We were talking about the formation, and Ollie, he gave us an indication that he might be tweaking it. So what we actually saw out there was like a 4-2-4, which is like a traditional Alex Ferguson, 1995, Kanchelskis, Lee Sharp, bombing up, attack, that kind of style of football against a side which is kind of savvy in Atalanta, and I think we kind of played into their hands. So first question to you, Rise, do you agree it was a 4-2-4, or what's your perception of what we saw out there? Well, and if so as well, do you think that was the right way to go?
Well, he said it was a 4-2-4. It was.
What did you see?
I didn't see it that way. If I'm honest with you, I just.
So what did you see?
I just saw the usual 4-2-3-1. That's what I saw. I mean, I don't see how he's trying to with them what we had out there trying to play that. That was never going to work, was it? You mentioned that at half time. So, I don't know. I mean. Second half of the question, what else did you ask me?
So I asked you, what did you see? That's this Ollie in his press conference. He said he's going to tweak it. So mainly we're going to see a difference. Okay, yeah. I heard you in the commentary. You say maybe it's tweaked with the players coming in. But so I'm asking, did you see a 4-2-4? If you didn't, what did you see? You said a 4-2-3-1. And I'm saying to you, was it effective the way we went out there? Did you see any tweaks? And was it effective overall for you?
Well, look, to me, like it was the tweak. The only thing I could see was that we were so concentrated on keeping a shape. That was all I could see that they were trying to concentrate on doing. There was nothing more than that. We was allowing them to get in loads of spaces in behind us, and we weren't doing anything about that. We weren't sort of trying to, especially in our own half, we're giving them far too much time and respect on the ball and inviting them into them spaces, and that we just made it too easy for them. And
So talk. So in regards to the formation, do you think it's the formation that allowed all these issues that you're stating here about giving them too much time, giving them too much space? Is it because of the formation?
Well, I don't know, maybe. But either way, it doesn't matter what formation you're playing. If you're going to allow players, if you're going to stand off players, you can play any formation you like. You can put 10 if you want, go 10. But if you're going to stand off them and allow them to play them diamonds around you and not press them, you play what you like. They're going to pass the ball, move into the space, and do what they're going to do. So it doesn't matter what formation you're playing. If you want the ball, you've got to go and get it. You've got to get the ball. You can't. But what? They're just going to go, all right, well, we've had the ball for 5 minutes now. Your turn. Don't work like that. If you want the ball, you've got to get it. Put pressure on the ball. That's what it's there for, to be won. So for me,
should it be organised though? The way we're pressing, it should be organised, right? With structure, rather than just random, everyone just pressing or having that sort of mentality.
You had Fred pressing on his own. You had other players pressing on their own. You can't. You're going to press. You press together. That's the way it works. So, and that wasn't happening. And in that first half, I was so confused just simply because of what was said in the press conference. And I was so confused because I'm thinking, wait a minute. I looked at the lineup, then thinking about the press conference, and I'm like, right, okay. The only way I can see this working is if as soon as this kicks off, we get the ball, we go one pass, and then we're at them. We go forward and we're at them. We're all over them. We do not give them any time to think. We don't give them any time to think about where they're going to play the ball. We're going to make forced errors. But there was none of that. It was straight, so slow, pass back to him, pass back to the goalkeeper. So I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Where's the energy he was talking about? Where's all that gone? There was no energy in that first half. There's more energy from that local Derby and Joan club, on a Sunday. You know what I mean?
And if anyone don't know, I want tickets when we come up to Manchester. So moving on to Rebel. So Rebel, as you heard, Ollie said the other day, he's going to tweak it. And two questions for you. Do you think we played a 4-2-4, similar sort of 4-2-4? If not, what did we play and were we effective with it?
Let's break down that first half. I saw chaos in that first half. If there was 4 people playing in the forward line, I'd have expected far more pressing, far more pushing up on the ball. I did not see that from Manchester United. In the first goal, we gave away a foul through Fred. Ball was played quickly, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka and McTominay were caught looking at each other pretty much. And they got a soft goal out of pretty much no defensive organisation whatsoever. Second goal was a corner, whipped into the box. And again, we had Luke Shaw picking up one of their biggest aerial threats on the field. Again, where was the communication amongst our backs and as to who was picking up who? We were not organised defensively. Let's just get that straight away. And Ollie's key point that I'll go back to is we were too easy to play through. That first goal, we were too easy to play through. Nothing improved there. And then offensively speaking, how many corners did we not beat the first man with? How many crosses did not beat the first man and give us at least a chance of making the keeper work for his supper? We did not do that effectively in the first half.
There was a lot of
sorry, go and talk.
There was a lot of poor passing as well and poor touches and over hitting it. And
guys, overall, I want to focus on the formation. Okay, let's not distract from the formation. So these issues you're saying we're too easy to play through, Rebel. Do you think that's down to the formation of 4-2-4? How do you see we were too open? Maybe we're too open. Maybe not enough cover in midfield. What are the issues that were making us too easy to play through? Do you think?
To be honest with you, he packaged it as a 4-2-4, but I saw the same formation that we had against Leicester. I did not see any deviation from the standard Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tactics handbook. I'll be honest with you. I'd love to be able to say that he tried something new. He was inventive, that he looked to put us in a position to take the game by the scruff of the neck. But even though we won, I can't say that he done that. And looking at the formation, even through to the second half, we had like-for-like substitutions. The template that was through the full 90 minutes of the game was the same, although we had an upgrade in quality when Pogba came on the pitch, and we had an upgrade. We had various upgrades in quality on players maybe that were starting to wane through either lack of fitness or lack of ability in some cases. But I can't say that I saw a change or something new and I suppose shiny from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today. We got 3 points.
So you didn't see a 4-2-4. You saw the same as usual, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so no change. Okay, Mr. B. Sorry, Mr. B.
I saw.
You know the question.
Yeah.
Very simply, it's keep the formation.
Yeah.
Did you see a 4-4-2-4? You remember Ollie said this we tweak. What is the tweak that we've seen? And were we effective with what formation? And what did you see? What formation did you see then if we didn't see 4-2-4?
I personally saw a 4-2-4. Fred and McTominay stayed where they were.
Yeah.
You had Greenwood. As soon as Wan-Bissaka picked up the ball, he ran forward. And the same on Rashford's side. As I said at half time, it seemed very boxy in the way that they played, sort of up the lines and then tried to get a cross in. The midfield, we didn't use our central midfield. They were there to feed the scrap. So I saw a 4-2-4. My issue with the 4-2-4 was, if you're going to play it, play the players who play in the correct position. Sancho maybe should have started on the right of the 4. His natural inkling would be to drop back slightly. Greenwood's is always to go forward. Same with Rashford on the other side. He could have played Rashford, no problem. But my issue would have been with Bruno and Ronaldo. Bruno didn't drop at all to supplement the midfield. So he could, if that's the case, he could have gone with Cavani then. If that's the case, go with the players who play in the position then. Don't try and shoehorn in players who don't fit in it. So I did see a 4-2-4 in the first half. Yeah, I did. Second half was just a whole load of madness.
Yeah. So just to add to Mr. B, so you've seen a 4-2-4. Do you think it was effective?
No.
So strictly because of the selection of players, it would have been. Do you think it would have been more? Because you're saying the players weren't in the right. The support selection of players, you would have played different players in different position. So do you think that would have been effective if we had the right players there then?
Yeah, I think so. It probably would have made a difference, but also the tempo was so slow. United, especially at home in the Champions League, need to play at a tempo. The second half, they came out. Atalanta could not cope with how fast we were. There was none of this sideways two-touch passing. Look where you're passing. Everything was bang, 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 bang. One touch, bang, one touch. They didn't have time to set. Even the free kicks that were taken in the throw-ins. Everything was done with the premise of getting them on their back foot. We started the game and we let them do it. Anything that they wanted to pass the ball around. Nobody pressed. Second half, everybody gave 150%. So whatever the improvement was, I don't know if there was a formation change in the second half, to be honest. They just went out there and were running everywhere. But the first half was definitely not a standard that I would be happy playing with every week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Listen, we've got a lot of comments coming in. Just going to quickly filter through them. Got Bath Time, one of our regulars now. How you doing, Bath Time? Says Ollie setting those fire alarms off with a genius move. Apparently last night there was a bit of distraction for the players. They couldn't sleep because someone's setting off fire alarms in the hotel. Shaw playing inverted alongside an all-action Fred was the platform for the comeback. That's interesting. Anyone want to speak?
Does he think that he played Shaw? I mean, I'm gonna have to watch the game again but I'll be honest. I said I didn't really notice where anybody was playing, so it was more bloody hell, we've scored, shit, we've scored again. So I wanna have to study. I'll probably have to sit down and study it more. But I'm gonna watch when I'm looking at that. I will look for Shaw in the second half, tucking in beside I think
he's trying to say like Man City when Cancelo comes into midfield and makes up an extra midfielder. Maybe Shaw was doing the same and picking up the ball from midfield and then driving forward.
That's a simple identification of the space that they were offering. You know, they're going to offer that space like we didn't do in the first half. We didn't use that space. In the second half, we did. So from whatever Ollie has said in half time, you know, it's obviously it's about that. You know, they're not going to break their shape. They're not going to deviate from what they're going to try and do. We're going to have to be the ones to deviate from what we're doing here. So you've got to start using that space, put pressure on the space, and cause them to, you know, maybe even open up more space by having to move up and double up on you. And
So do you think that was a tactical change by Ollie, by Shaw playing sort of an inverted fullback, playing sort of in midfield, picking up the ball from there?
It could have been by Ollie. It could have been by the coaching. It could have been by themselves. Luke Shaw might have just decided, look, wait a minute. There's loads of space there. I can use that. He might have just thought to himself, you know what? No, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up here and use that space, because then if I don't, then it's going to be dead, and they're going to occupy it. So if you don't occupy any free space, they will occupy it themselves it invites them forward. So by blocking that space off, you then set the line. It's like, no, you ain't coming this way. You ain't getting into this space because I'm occupying it.
Okay. So here we've got a comment from Tobias. How you doing, Tobias? I know he's on your live stream as well. I'm going to pass it to you. Well, we've all agreed, I think. But Rebel, he's saying that we were far too slow in the first half. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think he's spot on. I just want to kind of give a couple of stats. When we conceded the goal in the first half, we set a 57-year record for the longest streak without a clean sheet. We've had one clean sheet in 19 games. 19. In the first half, there was a lack of willingness to run back. Even when we were attacking off the ball, the player movement, they were walking. I think I've seen us walking around our offices quicker than I've seen some of our players moving in that first half. There was absolutely no hunger in that first half. And I think it's spot on.
Yeah, so we come in at half-time. Maybe we had some really nice citrus oranges from Seville. That's what Shah's trying to suggest was the catalyst of change. But Gemma's also saying someone made a speech at half-time, probably Ronaldo. Mr. B, you was touching on this earlier, weren't you, about someone... do you think that... What do you think the changing room was like, guys? All three of you. What do you think the changes was like? Pass this round. What do you think, guys? What happened?
Can I come in there first, actually? When I looked at Ronaldo after we conceded that second goal, I saw a man that was about to go through his players. I saw a man that was a captain. I saw a man that was going to do what Fergie used to do and absolutely chew ear. I think you saw Ronaldo and his deputy, Bruno Fernandes, absolutely taking control of that dressing room at halftime, because you saw Ronaldo was dictating what was happening in that second half, in my view. I think it was Ronaldo made the speech. Ronaldo, in the absence of Harry maybe asserting himself, Ronaldo dictated what happened in that second half. And
you're flying the wall in change room. What happened briefly? What do you reckon happened there?
Listen, there's no two ways about it. You know what, Ronaldo, because of the personality he is and his hunger to win, you're getting beat. You go in at half time, you're getting beat. You played poorly. You played poorly. He will, no doubt, he will have been voicing his opinions. But I do think also that maybe, Ollie would have been. I've got to give him some credit, because I think he must have been the one to mention that. They're not gonna deviate from what they're doing here. So you've got to make the use of the space. If you do it quickly, move the ball quickly and get in to these spaces quickly and keep moving, you're going to cause some problems. And I said that from the start. If a team who tries to keep their shit, all you got to do is you do things quickly, and they've got problems, because they're going to have to chase the ball. They've got to then,
So talk. You're saying at half time, Ollie's saying all this. What you're saying now?
Yeah. Well, if I had to put a bet on it, and then we could then see the outcome of what it was, I would bet it was more Ollie. But I won't deny that Cristiano would have been voicing his opinions as well. He would have been so frustrated.
Mr. B, you're shaking your head. What do you think happened at half time? Briefly, please.
I already said it. Ollie was shoved in a corner with Kenner and Carrick, and the players just took over for the 13 minutes that they were in there. I'll be honest, I just can't see why your manager sends you out a certain way to play. It stank the place out. Why are you going to listen to your manager and let you know what he tells you in the second half? Pogba came on like a man possessed. Now, whether that was vex, he was angry that he didn't start, but the way that the players played in the second half is the attitude that they need to start the games with, regardless of what they think of Ollie and his tactics, because let's be honest, there was no tactics in the second half. It was down to the players bigging up, you know what I mean?
Oh, can I ask you this then? Are we then saying, if players have chosen to do that, come out and do that for their own backs in the second half, then in the first half they were just being lazy and not trying? That's the way it seems. Because there's no way Ollie's gonna. Can you imagine Ollie? Then that's a total contrast, isn't it? First half.
Can I answer that? Can I answer that?
Go on, I'm on day.
My thing is this: you do the training, you do like pre-game training. You drilled. We said the manager would say, the coaching staff would say, "I want you to do A, B, and C." So the players go out there with that instruction in mind and say, "Right, this is our shape. Remember what we said. Remember what we've been doing for the last couple of days in training. This is what we do." And that's what they did. And they were outplayed by a team, so they lost the hunger. They were focused on trying to get this system working. I don't think it worked. So they had to take it into their own hands, I believe. And then we saw that with the drive, the energy, the from the players in the second half individually, and really trying to force it. And with the crowd as well. I think the crowd were fantastic today as well. So just to go, I'm just going to run through some of these comments, guys, because this is we've got time. So we're saying here, Ronaldo with the speech. Here's a good one. Bruno played a lot deeper in the second half. Gives Ollie some credit. He made the tactical changes. This is what observation by Bath. That's consequence become a reality. Says Shaw. Shaw dropped into the left side of midfield position. This is the inverted winger position. And Bruno went into the space he normally plays in with Greenwood, not cutting in and holding the width for the second half. That's good observation. Big up the panel, says Andy. We won, says Luca. Good evening, Amy B. Hello, Amy B. How you doing? Sorry, Bath then. First half, Wan-Bissaka was inverted. With Greenwood cut it in, and we saw Ronaldo go mad because Greenwood wasn't getting in the box. I remember that. Do you remember that, guys? Because Ronaldo was tried to whip it across and got tackled. Tobias says first half was too slow, too narrow, and second half was much better and more intense. Just good intense, yeah, it was intense. And Bath saying when we held the width, we had so much more space to attack on the left. A key part of Ollie's play is playing it around the back four for an inverted forward to run onto a long ball. We did that successfully 3 times in the first half. It was shit. Poor pattern of play. Rebel, spot on Rebel, says Tobias. The corner was Ronaldo's error in his view, says Vaughan. Has to dominate the front post. Here we go. Basically, we were 2-3-6. Question for the panel. Rashford's goal started the momentum, but we have been doing this for 40 games plus. That's not a question, is it?
Performance. No, I think it was just a statement.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on. I've got a couple more things. Right, guys, how are you feeling so far? Are you feeling? Just want to mention as well, if we get 1,000 subscribers, we're close to 700 already. We're the Man United agenda. We always deliver consistent. That's what we're about. And we're always dropping some consistent thing, whether it's the match day, preview, review, watch along. We're and studs up. We're putting out shows Friday night with the Mr. B quiz show. We got it all on this channel, so make sure you tune in. And if we get to 1,000, you're gonna get a signed Bruno Fernandes shirt, which will be more valuable now. The stock market's gone up after his performance today. Right, guys. So, guys, next question. This is from me. I'm the quiz master. I ask the questions out here. How good are Atlanta? Are we raving about this result? How good are Atlanta? This is a team. Hold on a minute. The team has been in the top 4 for the last couple of seasons in Italy. You might say it's not a good league, but they've been coming to top 4, and we've witnessed them today. Do you think they're a good side, Rebel United? No. Rebel, over.
Let's look at the team that they put out first of all, and let's obviously give them the credit for the way they played in the first half. But let's remember one sobering thought: 5 of the Atlanta first team were missing tonight. That is nearly 50% of their first team starting 11 that was not on the pitch today, and they absolutely dominated that first half with the way they controlled the midfield. And looking into the second half, I'm going to highlight one of our 3 goals, the Harry Maguire goal. We had a poor corner into the box that was cleared, and we were fortunate then with a second whipped ball in that a deflection knocked it into the path of Harry Maguire. Now, Harry took a great finish. I think Green would have been proud of the finish that Harry Maguire made. Yeah. But let's not overlook how fortunate it was that the ball actually came to him in the first place. But speaking to Atlanta themselves, they were controlled, they were measured in the first half. They played within their shape, they dictated their tempo, and they were not flustered in that first half. In the second half, things got away from them. You saw a bit of panic. You saw them pick it up, I think, 2 yellow cards in the space of 5 minutes, early second half. Then Rashford hit him with a goal. And things started to, I suppose, run off the tracks. And things became frazzled for them. They then started to regain a bit of control. They took a breather. They reflected amongst themselves. And they started to try and take that control that they had in midfield and reassert it. Unfortunately for them, when that sucker punch of a Maguire goal came, that's the way they're going to look at it. Why we're going to look at Maguire's great finish, it's a sucker punch in their view. They were then looking to say, right, in order to get a win, we have to score a third goal. And who else but Mr. Sue himself comes up with the big time Champions League saving header, Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, that is why he's on the money that he's on. He did it to us in Ireland in the international break when we played Portugal. He knocked in 2 goals of that style and broke our hearts. Atalanta are going home broken-hearted and thinking United sprinkled a bit of fairy dust and pulled 3 points out of nowhere.
Okay, so thank you very much. Mr. B, Rebels just said Atlanta, they're controlled, very measured, they're very unflustered as well. Do you agree with that? How do you assess Atalanta? Sorry, I keep saying Atlanta. Atalanta, how do you assess them after what Rebels just said and after what you've just witnessed for your own eyes?
System's well drilled. I mean, we spoke on, what day is it? So we spoke yesterday about the formation that they would be playing. 3 at the back, it's either 5 or 4 in midfield with 1 off, with 2 up front. That's the formation that they play, and you can see that they came with, obviously, to play that formation. My issue is that we knew what they were going to play, but it looks like Ollie went out with a formation that wouldn't even counter what they had. If they've got 4 or 5 in midfield and you've got 2, you're already outnumbered. They played a possession-based game, which means that where Ollie's got our players setting up, we're running around like rats trying to chase the ball. They just pop the ball into space, pop the ball into space. I have no idea what changed in the second half because their energy levels dropped. I'm not going to say it's a Manchester United super performance in the second half. They ran more. The only thing they did in the second half more was run more. You know, I know Omondi, you say everything's about positioning, but sometimes you need to show your teammate that you're willing to go that extra mile. It makes him go that extra mile. If you've got players... Yeah, sorry, go on, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. B, sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, bad feedback. Just want to say, in the FA Cup, for example, 4th round, you might get a team from the conference playing against a better quality team in a higher league. They're the ones who have to run faster and work harder than the other team to get that win. That's what I'm saying. So we're a better team, but we had to win. We had to run faster and work harder and increase the tempo to try to beat this team. Do you see my point there?
Oh, I understand that, but my opinion is that if you've got the talent, which they definitely have, you have to have the willingness to run as hard as the opposition. Because what you do, you then grind them down. They know you're a better player, but you're working as hard as them. The technique and the ability will then start to show. The fact that a lot of Manchester United players just seem to rely on their ability and not their work rate, that's the part that is bugging me. That's the part that I think that if they stepped up their work rate to match, all right, you look at certain teams in the Premiership, they will run for an hour and earn the right then to start taking the piss. The last half hour of the game, they start popping the ball around. But that first 45 minutes, an hour, was a war where you have to grind out and earn that right. United at the moment, I don't think certain players feel that they just have to turn up and they don't have to run. They just have to stay in a position. You need 11 players on the pitch willing to break their neck for their teammate. That's a team. Regardless of what formation Ollie's putting out, that is a team. And at the moment, I think that team is broken. There's issues going on, and I think that team is broken.
So just to summarize very quickly before I move on to Talk MU, what do you think Atalanta, do you think they're the best team in our group? And do you see them improving considering Rebel said there's 5 players missing? In a word, are they to be feared when we go to their grounds, Mr. B?
Oh, sorry, I thought you was talking to Talk.
Before I move on to talk, yeah,
sorry, I'll be honest. I have no idea. My nerves are still shredded from this one. The fact that we do play better away from home, but let's be honest, Gasparini, I think that's the manager's name, is going to sit down and study this game. He's going to study this game. He's going to work out something. What I'm hoping is that Ollie doesn't go there for the draw because we got the result already. Think about it. We take those 3 points, we are in pole position to get out of that group. And that's the most important thing because let's be honest, none of us want Europa.
Okay, Talk MU. Thanks, Mr. B. Talk MU.
Yeah.
So we've heard that Atalanta, they've looked controlled, measured, unflustered, got a good system of play. You've seen them live tonight and you've actually commentated on them. What's your assessment of Atalanta? And do you think they're a good side?
Not particularly. Listen, I'll tell you what it was. First half, it was welcome to Serie A. Second half, it was welcome to the Premier League.
Well done. That is Stork. Sorry, I just want to say that is a fantastic breakdown, and you can stop talking now if you wanted to. I know you're going to carry on, but what you just said, I totally agree with. Brilliant what you just said.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it, and that's they just couldn't cope with that. So if in the first half we would have kind of, because look, we all know when you're playing the game, you don't press constantly all over the place. You don't do that because that's dangerous. You choose when and where you're going to press. Now, pressing high up the pitch with a team like Atalanta who can, exactly like by keeping their shape, pass around you, then that's dangerous. But when they're in your half, you've got to get in their faces and get in their faces quick and stop them from doing exactly that. Because if you're just going to be sort of holding your shape, even in your own half, then that is even more dangerous. And that's exactly what we were guilty of. So, Ollie could have done a totally, which I know he'd never do, but he could have tried something totally outlandish. He could have gone for a 3-3-1-3 even, which would have totally nullified anything they tried to do because you'd have got numbers then to press it on every part of the pitch. They would have had nowhere to go. You know what? And I'd love to see Leeds United, when they play their 3-3-1-3 or the 4-1-4-1, whatever you want to call it, right? They're playing that against that Atalanta team. I bet Leeds would have absolutely ripped them apart. I tell you, guarantee it, without a doubt. So for me, I think yeah, go on.
You say you're not impressed. So you're not impressed with Atalanta then?
No, not really.
Let's talk on Atalanta. What's your? You've seen them live. What do you think about them? Do you think they're top side? Do you think that they're? Are you anything you could say positive about them? About their side, how they play? I mean, what do you?
Well, do you think they were disciplined. Look, they're disciplined. They've got, they've got some decent players. The players that are out and stuff. I don't know too much about Atalanta because it's not, a team that I watch regular or anything like that. But yeah, they were disciplined. They keep the shape and blah blah blah, and they took their chances well. But to be fair, we aided those chances massively. And again, like I said, it was Serie A, we're Premier League, and then that was the outcome.
Can I come in?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Just 2 points. One with Mr. B and one with Talks. Mr. B said about the running. We often criticise Tony Martial for his lack of effort and lack of running. There are certain players tonight that will deserve the same level of scrutiny, and I hope that we give the same level of platform to those players and air out our dissatisfaction. And in regards to something that Talk said, they played with discipline. They played with shape. They were well coached, and that is something that is absolutely highlighted and if they're well coached, they're going to come back in that second home leg and they're going to drill to the nth degree how to play against us next time.
Good shout. So here we've got Anthony Herbert. He's saying Atalanta, while we're on the subject, Atalanta are a good side, but remember the Italian system is slower and than ours, OURS, but you can underestimate them. You can't maybe underestimate them. I think he's trying to say. So yeah, it's a slower game. It's like the Italian league. I assumed what I was really impressed was when they went up. I assumed that they were going to Italian mode and sort of see out the game and manage the game out. But like Talkemu said earlier on, it's the tempo which I felt was a key catalyst for us to beating them and turn game of two halves, as you say. The tempo really increased and they couldn't really handle it towards the end, even though they could have countered us a few times. De Gea made a couple of really good saves, point blank saves, mind you. But I think they're a good side. I think they're worthy of their Champions League status, and maybe they could be. It'd be interesting to see how they get on. They drew with Villarreal, didn't they? We've seen both Villarreal and Atalanta now, but I think they're a better side, different, but they're a better side, I think, overall than Villarreal. And I'm quite impressed by them. And obviously, we got to go there now. And maybe if we can get a draw, I'd be happy with that based on what I've seen today. They're a good side. But then again, my point of saying that is I don't want us to get overexcited with this win coming back from 2-0 down. For one, we shouldn't really be 2-0 down. As Rise Rebel was saying, we're not keeping clean sheets all the time now. So it's life and death. And two, like you say, TalkMU. I mean, look, we had that Villarreal game last minute, heart attack moment. We had the West Ham game last minute, heart attack moment, that kind of thing. This is not really the way to go forward, I don't think, for Manchester United. And it doesn't really sort of, I think it just painted, covering over the cracks of the major cracks that are there, I think, at Manchester United at the moment. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
What you're saying there, Mr. Omondi, is like, it's okay. The players if they take it upon themselves to try and sort of just through sheer hard work, create something and get chances to create and actually put the ball in the net. But again, if you come up against a team that is a lot more has cleverer individuals in their team, it's not going to work. It's as simply as that. And again, if Ollie and the coaching staff at United are not actually getting us to think about what we're actually doing in the game in a tactical sense, we're going to keep coming up against these obstacles, and it's going to be a case of the players going out and be like, "Oh crap, this is not working. Right, what do we do?" Again, is it going to turn into sheer hard work and individual brilliance every single time? Because that's been eloquently put, not for me to say already, about what happened in the second half. Everybody's already said what they thought happened in the second half, which is, to be fair, that's damning on Ollie. If that is exactly what's happened in the second half, that is poor from Ollie, and he cannot continue surviving on that. It's because it's just a contrast. The contrast is like, it's night and day. First half to second half is night and day. There was nothing in the second half. There was nothing in the second half that we carried over from the first half. Not a single thing. It was crazy. So, like you say, is that down to Cristiano Ronaldo or somebody else, and maybe Bruno Fernandes, or is it down to Ollie? I've been watched and figured out that this is not going to work if we're going to allow them this kind of time. And let them, take advantage of the spaces behind us and around us, playing diamonds, etc. Then that's got to change. I don't know. I don't really know what to think on that one.
All right. Listen, I want to ask you, Rebel. As a manager, would you like to see, like yesterday, we watched Diego Simeone and Klopp on the touchline, barking orders, giving instructions, even though it was a tight game. They were 2-0 down. Diego Simeone came on the touchline. He was giving instructions. They got back in the game. They started to dominate the game. Then Klopp comes back. He starts giving it all the instructions because he can obviously see where the errors are coming or what the issue is. So would you want to see more from Ollie? Do you think it's a mistake by him? He's sitting on the bench, just sitting there, and then talk to Mike Phelan. I heard you say, Rise, in the commentary, talk to Mike Phelan, looking for seeking advice. What sort of Ollie? What sort of manager would you like to see? An animated manager like that? Would you, Rebel, or would you like someone just sitting on the bench like that?
I suppose what you have to look at is when things are going wrong, where the instructions aren't coming out onto the pitch, and if that's the case, then that tells me that he's basically putting on the players to take us for the ride and see if they can get a result. On Sunday, we face a front three of Salah, Mane, and Firmino. And things are going to change during that game. And you're going to need your manager and your coaches to be altering the tactics to respond to a certain degree to things that are happening on the field. And Ollie doesn't do that for us, unfortunately. And it's not even a question of showing a passion. If he was walking onto the field and he was getting a message out, he could be as humble and demure as he wants. He could be whispering the instructions, but it's the thing of getting those instructions out and putting his effect on the way the game is going. And I do not see that from Ollie. So I would need while I don't need to see Simeone who leaps up into the sky and shouts and roars and throws his hands everywhere, I do want to see a manager that's coming out to his technical area and effecting change on the field and trying to adjust according to what is happening out there if the players aren't reacting.
Mr. B, how do you feel about that? Would you like to see a manager? Well, you're a first team coach yourself, and as I keep telling this story over and over again, I've had you on the phone when you've been on the touchline, and you had to put me on pause. And I wish you would have just quickly turned it off because you nearly broke my eardrums. So, what are you like on the touchline, and what would you like to see from Ollie?
I try not to cuss too much, to be honest. I try to set the team up how I want them to play, but individually, I'll be honest, I tend not to kick an ass. The team tends to know when somebody's dropped off and they tend to do it themselves. So I would like to think that I've got a team of men. The problem I've got, obviously, with my lot is that a lot of them are bitches and a lot of them have got big egos, like at Man United, where if you tell them something, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So I think that's more how I would run my team. As Ollie, I'll be honest, I don't think any of them have any faith in Ollie anymore. Amonde, I used to hear you saying, oh, it's the players. And I was there saying, no, it's Ollie. He's talking the second half, this, but today especially, you could see what they wanted to do was something completely different than Ollie instructed them to do in the first half. But that's more what yeah.
So are you saying it's too late for Ollie to come out on this touchline in front of the cameras, in front of everyone else, and start barking orders and things?
Yeah, I think it's too late. That's his thing is, we know Ollie as softy Ollie whispering to McKenna and Carrick in the stands. We don't see Ollie as a hype man. If he came out as a hype man or even did it in certain occasions, then you could say it's in him. But for him to be doing it now, it would be like, okay, then he's just doing it for show. And
Okay, Talk MU, what do you think about this? Rebel's saying he would like. It shows that he knows what he's talking about if he's on the touchline because he can change things during the game, as Klopp did. What do you think about Ollie? Do you want to see him coming on the touchline and giving orders and showing like visibly animated to the whole crowd that he knows what he's doing, or were you happy with him just sitting on the bench?
I want to see him. I want to see him up on his feet. I want to see him praising players for hard work. I want to see him praising players for intelligent work, clapping. This is what you want to see because it's a great thing to see. And also, when a player isn't quite, if a player's not, concentration isn't there, and they're kind of drifting a little bit, you've got to be. You cannot leave it to everybody else to be kind of thinking about the game and then trying to be concentrating on each other at the same time, thinking, well, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on you because you keep drifting off it. That's not that's not how it's supposed to be. The manager, Lindelof, get back, or shift across. Why should we leave it? You don't be leaving it to other players to have to take on that responsibility and worry about what's going on behind them or side of them. They can see what's going on in front because obviously it's there, but what's going on behind them to the sides, that's for the manager to identify and shout. Pick the tempo up, move in, come wide, whatever. So I would like to see Ollie do that and be a little bit more responsible on that front, rather than just kind of, because if it's like, there's the puzzle, go and figure it out, but don't ask me for any clues.
So guys, sorry, Mr. B, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got to go. Something's come up. Apologies to the stream. Apologies to you guys.
We're signing out now anyway. Yeah.
All right. I've got to go. Sorry.
Thanks for your contributions, Mr. B. Thank you.
Thank you very much, as always. Thank you, man.
So, and then there were three guys. So we're just going to think about moving on now. This weekend on Sunday, we've got Liverpool coming to Old Trafford. Do you think this whole experience tonight has changed your anticipation of the game? Because to be honest, I was a bit nervous having to seeing how Liverpool playing lately. How do you think the game's going to go? Do you think we're confident now? Do you think this will lift the whole club? Start with you, Rebel. What do you think about the game on Sunday based on what we saw tonight?
I suppose the way I'm going to look at Sunday is coming into tonight's game, I was looking at that Leicester game and I came in with fear, trepidation, and absolute anxiety as to what might happen to us in terms of our defensive play and our structure.
Right.
Going into Sunday's game, I have the same fear, trepidation, and anxiety towards our structure. You cannot keep coming back from 2-0 down. It's just not feasible going through a season to expect your players, your big players, to pull you out of the trenches time and time again. We are going to be stepping up in the class of player that we're going to be playing against. We're going to be playing against Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Henderson, Fabinho.
Okay, enough. It's too much.
Like,
I can't take it.
I would love to have seen us play a controlled, structured game and coming out of it 1-0 tonight or 2-1, but looked comfortable.
Yeah.
Not frantic. It was a frantic 3-2. There's no other way to put it. And I'll again be hoping for a victory. I'm delighted that we got 3 points tonight. If we beat Liverpool, I'd be delighted again. But it's not going to be a pleasant 90 minutes. That's the simple and pure fact of it.
Talk MU, what do you think? Has your confidence increased going into the Liverpool game now based on that?
What I will say is, yeah, in a way, because the players, whether, like I say, does it really matter at this stage now, whether it's where this has come from, whether it be the players or Ollie? Either way, what we managed to do was identify it was absolutely not working, put it right quickly and get a result. So that fills me with some kind of confidence going into the Liverpool game that, you know what, yeah, we can, how the game will start, who knows? Are we going to sit back and just absorb and then try and sting? Or are we going to actually go for them in terms of pressing, get in their face, break their their patterns of play up. Don't let them build up like they do and, do the passing around. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do. And given on the confidence front there, what would that lead me to think we're going to do? I would probably think that it's going to make me think that we will probably do that. We will start really quick and get in their faces, with high energy, like we talked about tonight from start, which we didn't got a little bit later on. But I think if we're going to stand any chance against Liverpool, I think it's got to be high energy right from the off, and you've got to match them in that department, because if we don't, I think we will be in like a real pickle.
That's a valid point, very valid point. I just want to shout out all the people commenting, especially Vaughan, Annie Herbert, especially DI Ballers, and this is Ollie, our very own Ollie, Prince of Maine. That's the name of his band. He done a show early on in full time on FTB. So we're going to wrap it up very soon now. I just want to say, is anything you guys freestyle now? Is any other business? Because I had my agenda, I had my notes, but it's just any other business. I'm going to give you just 30 seconds or something, just to summarize how you feel, what you think about the game, and how you feel about Ollie. Is the pressure off Ollie? And just summarize in about 30 seconds, each of you now, please. And I'll do the same. Start with you, Rebel.
Oh, cool.
First of all, Anthony asked the question, can you guys tell me how you stop Salah? You tie cinder blocks to his ankles. That's the only way you're stopping Salah. That's beside the point. How I feel about Ollie, I love Ollie the player. I will always love Ollie the player. Ollie the manager did a lot of good things for us. Ollie the manager has brought back character to our club. But I hate to say this, but there are certain tactical deficiencies in the structure, whether it's with Ollie or his coaching staff or a combination of the two, that we cannot overlook long term. I'm still hopeful for the season that we'll have a good, positive season, but there will be lingering fear and trepidation until I can see a consistent level of performance from our players deriving from what they do in training.
Well done, well said. Talk MU, do you want to match that?
Look, I just think if this was Ollie, identifying the problems, putting them right, giving the instructions, getting the players fired up for the second half, he's giving himself an awful lot of credit in the bank. So if that is the case, that's obviously a great thing, because that means then that the players are actually listening to him and are actually taking on board what he's saying and responding and everything else. So for me, that would be a great thing to see. But even still, having said that, I agree with what my learned friend has just said. It's there's got to be some huge improvements quickly. And if there ain't, then it's just, I suppose it's only a matter of time, isn't it, really?
So do you think we're going match by match now, based on the pressure that's on? Because apparently there was going to be a protest maybe this weekend, maybe to do with Ollie and his performances.
Well, something telling happened in the game. You hear the booing?
That was at half time, was it?
It was during the first half with the booing.
Okay.
Really, you could hear it loud as well. It was like, whoa, okay, shit. You know, this is when you hear booing at Old Trafford, that the writing is not just on the wall; it's on the wall in neon letters, mate. It's bright.
Okay.
You can hear it. That's it's a different thing. Murmurings are different to actually hearing that, because booing at Old Trafford from your own fans, that's bad. That is bad. So
I just want to add. Bath time with Vaughan. You've made some really good points today as well, and like you've made me consider as well. You've suggested that Ollie did have a factor in the change of the game, and I'm going to think about that as well, because we can't just write him off. We can only speculate on what he does. It's a results business, isn't it? And he actually got the result today, even though it was life and death, and coming back from 2-0 down. You know, it's an exciting game. But for me, I just want a bit of consistency. We're getting on now. My ticker can't take it. I can't be having all these sort of dramatic late finishes. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for the club going forward. I'd rather see us dominate games and wipe the floor with teams, you know, by having a philosophy of play, like they did their first goal. That was a worked move. You can see that's a well-drilled move. The overlap from the wing back, played across the 6-yard box and slotted in. So that's just one goal. But I'd rather see us to have some sort of game plan like that, and not have to force it or get the crowd up our backside and booing and all this kind of thing to get that reaction for us to start playing. Granted, like the Luke Shaw goal cross for Ronaldo, I think that was just worked. It wasn't crossed in an area where percentage-wise you're always going to score. I'd rather see a cross from the 6-yard box or something like that. So getting him in those areas, which I think there's more chance you're going to score. Most goals come from crossing across the 6-yard box, rather than where, if you remember where Luke Shaw was, he was quite deep and just whipped it in because he got out of his feet and was able to get a cross in. And it was just fortunate we had a guy like Ronaldo in there. Having Martial, someone with the same header opportunity, or Green with the same header opportunity, I doubt it would have scored. So I just want to see. I just feel that some of our goals are forced. And another good thing, just to add, wind up now, I just think having Rashford back as well, it gives us that pace threat, which we probably didn't have before. I think he's got that extreme rapid pace. So sometimes defenses now, they have to really reconsider pushing so high up, because he can exploit that spacing behind. He's always looking to do that. So hopefully now we can force teams back just with that threat of having Rashford on the pitch. So I'm quite
I do believe
50-50 about how I feel.
I do believe as well also that there's a bit of a mentality issue at the moment at the club.
Okay, do you want to elaborate on that?
I think if you think about, you know, the way we're playing football, it's kind of, it's not, in my opinion, it's not helping our winning mentality the way we play. It's just not. You know, you like I say, that first half there. If you watch that first half and then try and apply winning mentality to that first half, it's like trying to put, you know, it's trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It won't work.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So I think there's a mentality, and I said this in a game, like, I can't remember which game it was. On a different, I was in the chat on another channel, and I said it's a mentality problem there, and they weren't having it. But it's quite clearly that there is a mentality issue, and we need to get over that. And I don't know if Ollie is hope, you know. It's a case of, look, just you're trusting. You've got to trust in what I'm doing. Obviously, that's what you do. You trust the manager's judgment and everything else. But in order for you to continue trusting that, there has to be a reward at the end of it. You have to win. If Ollie does not win, and again, if he's there to the end of this season, but obviously he doesn't win a trophy, that is most definitely that's the end of it. He's got to win a trophy.
Yeah.
He's got to get us in that mentality of, we understand what you're trying to get us to do here, boss, and we know that it works because we've won. That's
just Yeah, I hear you. Just a really good point here again from Vaughan. I like your input tonight. He said, read up on the middle block or watch Croatia 2018. That's how Ollie sets up, and it's why most of our goals are individual errors. So if we will all read up, we're going to Google middle block and try to understand what tactically that means. And Bath Time also says it's why he plays Fred so often when he sets up with that middle block. So guys, that's our homework. We go away, assess the middle block. I think I know what he's talking about, but we're going to wind up the show now. Thanks for your contributions, everyone. Can please, so Vaughan, Tobias, Anthony, all hit the like button. This really helps us. Give us some watch time. Spread the word about the Man United agenda. And don't forget, we're going to be up in Manchester this weekend on a Sunday. We're doing a road trip all the way from London, and we're going to be there representing the Man United agenda and interviewing all the fans and getting a real feel about what it's about. And hopefully the channel can grow. And if you like what we're doing, please, like I say, just give us a good shout, give us some respect out here, because we love you guys. We love you, all your contributions. Here we go again. Last one. It's a mental cause. It's mental because he's using Fred's dispositions as our main player and has Bruno so far up the pitch because of it. There you go. This is something I've been harping on about as well, about Bruno being too far away from the action. GG, lads. Glory. Is that right?
Good game.
Good game.
Oh, good game. Good game. Okay.
Big up, Vaughan.
We're going to sign out now. It's been a fantastic show. What do you think, guys?
Brilliant.
Are we all right here? Are we feeling better?
Absolutely. A good football chat therapy as always.
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it? It helps.
Yeah. I'll sleep better. There's no doubt about I'll sleep better tonight.
So what's on the menu, the agenda for the rest of the week? So tomorrow we've got a Liverpool preview show. That's going to be advertised, so look out for that. We've got Gemma and a few others from Cop TV, Cop Talk, sorry. They're going to come and join us. We're going to have a discussion about the Liverpool game coming up. Oh, it's action packed. It's one after the game. And then we got on Friday, we've got the quiz show. I think it's going to be a gentleman that's called Talk MU coming on. I don't know who he is, but I'm going to make sure my questions are hard. And I think the week after that, I want a rebel. I want the rebel MC, the Irishman himself, to come on and test his knowledge.
You better start revising rebel.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously, at the weekend, we got the London boys have got a trip up to Old Trafford. And we will be covering the game and interviews and everything else. So this is the only place to be, guys. So make sure you tune in. So we're going to sign out now. I just want to say thanks to my friends here, Rebel and Talk, and obviously to the departed Mr. B. And we are the Man United Agenda. Thank you for tuning in, and we're out.
Good night.
Ciao.